Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, June 12th, 2025. So, today just follows up on the aftermath of John's funeral, as well as it's also the third anniversary of Abigail's death. So, we see Jack at the funeral, at the graveside of Abigail, and he's just, missing her dearly, just talking to her. He brought some flowers as well, and that was really it. Hope and Bo are at the square, and they're just looking at Tom and Alice's plaque, and they're just saying how they were instrumental as well in getting them back together, bringing Bo back to her, and they are watching over everybody, and they just talk about John and how the funeral went, and that Bo said that he wasn't going to miss anything, even though it's against doctor's wishes. He wasn't going to miss it for the world, and he just doesn't know how he's going to continue without him. He doesn't know how to say goodbye to him, and Hope is saying, look, we're not going to say goodbye to him. He's going to forever live with us, and it's never goodbye, right? So they just reminisce about how John was to them, and that was really it. Bo said that he was going to go over to the pub to talk to Roman and all of that, and Hope said that she was going over to Horton house to check in with Julie and Jennifer. So Jennifer is over at the house, and Julie comes in, and they're talking about how it has been 3 years since Abigail passed away, and it's just been hard for them today, and that's why they couldn't go to John's funeral. So that was the main reason as why we didn't see Jack and Jennifer. It's also their daughter's death anniversary, and they've always been going to her graveside ever since it happened, paying their respects, spending a little time with her. So they and JJ, Jack, and Jennifer went together to really, take some time out to talk to their loved one, right? So Jennifer asked Julie how she holding up because she was at the funeral, and it must be hard for her considering she recently lost her husband, and then to really go through another depressing moment. And she said that she's just holding up, and they're just praying for Marlena, and that it's a lot for her to deal with as well. They talk about the good things, and that Hope and Bo are back together, and Bo is back with them, and that they can't believe how he discharged himself out of the hospital against doctor's wishes. And Julie just remembers how stubborn that man really is, and Hope comes in, and they're glad to see Hope. They hug, and they share some ice cream and talk about everything that's been happening recently. And they had a lot of flashbacks, including where Bo back in the day, how Doug didn't really approve of him at first, but he won over Julie. And there was a time when Julie was trying to get them back together, and she went all the way to Paris to convince him to really come back to Hope. And it was really fly to really see them back in the day, the 80s, the 90s, glory days. They aged really well. Bo, Jennifer, Jack, Hope, Marlena, Jack, they look so terrific back then. Steve, Kayla, I really appreciated the nostalgic throwbacks because I haven't been watching obviously since the beginning. I wasn't born, I wasn't around that time, but it was really touching to see that and how they got together, how Jennifer and Jack found their way together when the ship was sinking. So it was good to really get back there without actually being there to watch it fully, right? But anyways, we're at the Brady pub, and they're having the reception after the funeral, and they're just sharing toast tributes to John, and how John was to all of them, how much adventures they went on as a group. So there was key memories about when John first came to Salem as the pawn, and how Steve encountered him, and how John really didn't know that he was actually John. He was missing pieces of his past, and Marlena was the one who helped him through counseling, and that's how they really got together in the beginning. They went through a lot. Marlena talked about how he saved her so much times, and you remember when she was possessed by the devil the first time, he was the one who actually brought her back, and how he saved her through many other incidents even afterwards that, right? There was a time when they're talking about Bo and Hope, and how they would sail around the world, and how they say good Steve and Kayla would say goodbye to them. And Kayla said maybe that he's retired from black patch, maybe they can go traveling. But Steve knows his wife really well, and that she's a homebody. She really doesn't really, into all of that traveling. And they're thinking about Marlena, how this is making her feel, and maybe it's insensitive. But she said, "Don't choose your words carefully around me. I want you guys to be happy. Don't worry about me, right?" So, anyways, Roman did leave briefly to go check in on Kate and Philip, right? He came back, and that's when everybody started saying their goodbyes. Shane had to leave. Then Bo said he had to catch up with Hope. Um there was Steve and Kayla that also said, their goodbyes to Marlene, and said, "Anything that you need, just know that we're here for you." Roman and her had a time, and I'll talk about that later on. There was this part where Steve and Bo catch up, and Bo is like, "You're really retired." So it's like it's not gonna be the same without John. And I can't. I don't really see myself doing it any further. So Bo is insisting or suggesting that maybe he can, join as a partner. Hope to, they have the experience. So they're not saying that he should make a decision right now, but to think about it. So he said that he would think about it. When everybody left except Roman wanted to apologize to Marlene about, an awkward moment earlier. Because remember, how Marlene and John really got together is that she was still married to Roman. She had an affair on him, and it really caused a lot of resentment, bitterness between the two. But they've gotten over it. He and Marlene are good. They're great friends now. He's friends with John, and he's sorry that John passed. Like, he was a wonderful man, and how he was to his children, he will never forget. And he doesn't hold any ill will towards any of them. And he's sorry that Marlena's going through this. So he did hug Marlena, and Marlena did also say that not a day goes by that she doesn't remember how much hurt she has caused Roman. And Roman said, "Look, I'm happy now with Kate. Fortunately, broken hearts do heal. Don't worry about it." So he asked if he could bring her home. So she said no, she needs some time to herself. So in the ending part, she had a flashback with John, and she started breaking down. And what I realized recently on a blog is that Drake was still alive when these were being taped. He died 2 days later after the taping of the funeral episode. So he was instrumental in ensuring that he was written off well. So this is what he wanted, this is what his family wished for. And it's just bittersweet in all of it, right? This has been a very tough week for all us viewers, the cast, especially his family. So man, my heart still goes out to them as well, and the cast. But this is it for today's episode recap, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel. Comment below your thoughts on today's episode. I will see you guys tomorrow.